The final question of who wants to own a game studio, who would you blame for a studio closure? A. Finances. B. The struggling game market. C. Stress. Or D. Your employees for leaking information to the press.
I know this one. It's D. Your employees for leaking information to the press. Final answer.
Congratulations.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I never believed this would actually happen. It's Sunday, so let's get sensational. I'm Mike, and it looks like we got another studio closure, but this one is a little weird. So I'll admit before the story, I had never heard of Pretendo Media or its studio possibility space, but it makes sense because they haven't been around too long. So this studio was founded in 2021 by husband and wife team Jess and Delcy Strain. Jeff Strain had a history in games as he founded studios ArenaNet and Undead Labs, who both put out successful games. So it's not like there wasn't some history of success from at least one of the company's founders. But the reason that we're talking about their studio possibility space is because they recently closed it. And we've been covering layoffs and closures recently as the gaming industry as a whole has been taking a bit of a hit right now. So it's understandable that smaller studios and startups are going to be impacted too. The studio had been working on a project codenamed Vonnegut before the closure, and apparently that's where everything went wrong. So according to the Verge article, Jeff Strain was doing an interview with Kotaku when the interviewer started asking questions based on not yet public information, which prompted him to later call the publisher and advise them that internal information had been leaked. Now, according to Jeff Strain, due to the leak, the publisher pulled funding for the game, which resulted in the studio's closure. So when he announced his closure to the employees, he basically said it was due to them leaking information. That's why the studio closed, because apparently they leaked the information. All right, let me preface this by saying they also had another studio close last month, Crop Circle Games, and they decided that that was being closed due to securing financing. So here we are now with their second studio closing, and they're trying to be like, well, it's because you leaked the information. Even if it was the case, leaks are fairly common in the gaming and tech industry, so it just sounds weird for the publisher to be like, oh, there was a leak, okay, we're out, peace. It just doesn't sound right. And also, they kind of blame the employees who are all now without jobs. It's messed up. Now, it was mentioned in the Verge article that his wife stepped down as CEO of the other closed studio, Crop Circle Games, due to health issues last winter. So I'm sure they're going through some personal struggles right now, so I'm not trying to be too mean to the founders, but how are you going to be in a position where you're like, oh yeah, that leak took the whole studio down? I could just imagine him being like, all right guys, one more leak and I'm closing the studio for good. Wait a minute, who posted my breakfast on Insta? All right guys, the studio's done, it's closed. All jokes aside, that may have happened with the publisher, like them pulling out because of the leaks or something, but I feel like there has to be more to the story than just the leaks. It could have been that they didn't feel confident about the progress of the project or the potential success of it. Either way, employees shouldn't be blamed, especially when they're finding out that they're losing their jobs. So hopefully that studio's employees can land on their feet. But Possibility Space wasn't the only shutdown last week, as the Wii U and 3DS online service officially shut down on the 8th. So Nintendo announced the shutdown a while ago, so it's not like it's super surprising, but aside from some select titles, online play is basically done on both systems. You can still download games you already purchased and patches for games that you own and do some Pokemon related things, but that's pretty much it. Man, the 3DS was really a great handheld. I'm really gonna miss it. And the Wii U, man, the 3DS was a great handheld. Okay, fine, the Wii U was still good, even though it wasn't that popular. I actually enjoyed several games on the Wii U, and you may still be able to play some of those games online thanks to Pretendo. Pretendo is an open source project, and one of the things they do is host servers where you can play Nintendo games online. Previously, you had to install Homebrew on your console in order to access these servers, but they found a workaround that lets you run games using an SSL exploit that they found in the Wii U. The good thing is you don't have to hack your system and you just have to change your DNS server, and that's pretty much it. Now, it is notated in the Engadget article that this will work with most of Nintendo's first-party games, but not third-party games and apps that use their own secure socket layer or SSL. The Engadget article lists Watch Dogs and the YouTube app as examples of things that won't work online. You do have to run the latest firmware available for the Wii U, which is still available to download as of right now. The Pretendo team mentioned in their statement that they found this workaround a while ago, but they literally waited until the servers were down officially to be like, hey, you can do this on your Wii U. I'm curious if Nintendo will try to do like a firmware update to block this functionality, because they're very protective of their IP and their consoles and how their systems are used, or if they'll just let this go, because they let go of the Wii U as soon as the Switch came out. They're like, the Wii U? We only released one Wii. What are y'all talking about? Either way, if you want to play some of your old Wii U games online, there may still be a way for now. But while one system dies, a new one is set to arrive. Woo! All right, that was a good segue. I had bars on that one, y'all gotta admit it. So Lenovo unexpectedly hopped into the handheld PC market last year with the Lenovo Legion Go, which is a Windows-based handheld with detachable controllers and an 8-inch screen. Now this is still a fairly new category, especially for laptop manufacturers like Lenovo, Asus, and MSI, so no one knows how they're gonna refresh these PCs moving forward. Valve kind of kickstarted the affordable handheld PC market, and their strategy has been to keep the same hardware around so developers have a consistent target to hit. Meanwhile, Asus already confirmed that they're working on a follow-up to the ROG Ally, and they plan to have it out, or at least hope to have it out this year. And now Lenovo has also confirmed that they're working on a follow-up to the Legion Go. Now, they didn't give any specs, and they didn't say that it was coming out this year, but basically they said they're working hard on improvements for their current model, and they see a lot of potential in this category. So I'm getting the feeling that both Lenovo and Asus may treat these like laptops and refresh them every year with new chips, which makes sense from a laptop perspective, but I'm not sure how they'll work out with a gaming handheld. Neither of them have outright said that's what they're doing, but if they're both talking about their next handheld and are already working on it, that's probably what they're going to be doing. Just like Microsoft is for sure doing a next generation Xbox, so let's just go ahead and talk about it today. In our final story. So there's been a lot of rumors about the PS5 Pro and is expected to come out later this year, but what is Microsoft doing with the Xbox? We already had that leak recently with the all-white digital Xbox Series X, which we assume is coming this year, but there's been no plans leaked or even hinted at for a more powerful system this generation. Well, a couple of things happened recently. The first one we already covered. That was when Xbox executives did a special episode of the Xbox podcast because people were freaking out that the Xbox was ending because it had leaked that they were bringing exclusives to other consoles. It was a whole mess. So toward the end of that podcast episode, Xbox president Sarah Bond mentioned that the next Xbox is going to be the biggest technical leap ever in a generation. Now, we recently got some internal emails that were leaked, also from Sarah Bond, saying that we're moving full speed ahead with our next generation hardware, focused on delivering the biggest technical leap ever in a generation, whatever that means. So yes, it looks like she's saying the same thing internally that she said on the podcast, but maybe not. So without them doing a pro console, they'll basically fall behind the PS5 as far as power. Not that it'll matter too much because they'll still have to develop games to hit the PS5 spec, which is basically the same as the Xbox Series X. But I was thinking that maybe they're talking about the next generation because they're planning on releasing a new console in the next couple of years. Now, this is just my speculation, but the last couple of generations, they like to be close to Sony as far as power. So I find them not planning a more powerful Xbox to be weird. But maybe they're just going to cut this generation short and try to get a head start on the next generation ahead of Sony. It's just funny to me that they're like, hey, this next console is going to be a huge leap. It's going to be the biggest leap ever. And they haven't talked much about their current console other than saying that they'll have some new hardware at the end of this year. They may also feel like having a next-gen system out first that's more powerful and is marketed as a next-gen system could give them a sales boost ahead of Sony's PS6. And, by the way, this is my idea, so if they sell it, they better pay me. They could call it the Xbox 2 because they had the Xbox and the Xbox One and the Xbox 360, but they never had the Xbox 2. In fact, it could be an Xbox 2 with two O's, and both the O's could be Xbox logos. All right, I think I'm done here, but let me know what you think. Do you think Microsoft could jumpstart the next console generation early? Again, let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell notification to be notified when I drop a video or a live stream. And always do at least two things at the same time. Peace.